Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all for the day one, session three of Atal sponsored FDP on aspects and machine learning applications in smart grid. On behalf of the management and on behalf of the Department of EEE, I, Dr. S. Hemlata, Professor in HOD Lab Affairs, HOD Lab Affairs of this EEE department. I welcome you for the afternoon session, and also I welcome the session guest expert, Dr. S. Sendil Kumar sir. It's my privilege to introduce our expert, Dr. S. Sendil Kumar sir. He has obtained his doctoral degree from NIT Trichy. He has 18 years of experience in teaching and is currently working as associate professor in National Institute of Technology, Trichy. His areas of interest are electrical machine drives, hybrid electric energy conversion system, energy conservation, microgrid, power quality, power electronic interfaces for renewable energy systems, analog and digital controllers for power converters. Our expert has published 25 international journals and 9 international conference publications, and he has 6 national conference publications also. And then about his sponsored projects, the title of the project is National Mission on Power Electronics Technology. It was funded by Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, CDAC Trivandrum, and the sponsored amount, sanctioned amount is 34.5 lakhs. And the second project is development of DC-DC converter and bidirectional converter for SPV application. It was sanctioned by Department of Electronics and Information Technology for the total amount of 19.64 lakhs. It was also completed. And then the third one, it is ongoing project. The title of the work is, sponsored project is Dynamic Loading of Conveyor Drive Heads in Mines and Funding Agency for the project specimen. It was the funding agency is NLC Neyveli. It is for the month of 21, and then the grants sanctioned is 63 lakhs. We are very fortunate to have you here, sir. And once again, I welcome you, sir, for this session. Please carry on the session, sir. Thank you so much. Sir?
Madam, thank you, madam. Thank you for your brief introduction.
Thank you, sir.
Shall I proceed, madam?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. Very good afternoon to all of you. Today, my talk is related to the power converters and the control strategies employed for smart grid technologies. So, when here my talk is related to how you are interfacing the grid, conventional utility grid, maybe the microgrid, and how from which sources, like renewable energy sources or conventional power generation sources, how you can interfaces. Here today my talk is related to the renewable energy sources, in particular solar PV systems. From the solar PV system, how you were integrating with the grid. It may be the utility grid or it may be the microgrid, whatever it may be, the same situation. Only thing is, we need to see that how the way in which we are connecting to the grid, and how the way in which you are connecting, and what are the problems which is there at the grid terminals, how we can mitigate. And when you are considering those problems in the grid terminals, for example, many power quality problems are there, like a voltage sag, swell, then frequency deviations, harmonics, DC shift. Many problems are there. Under that condition, how smart you are operating the grid, and how the way in which you were maintaining the grid according to the standards which are already existing, derived by the IEEE and IES. So in this regard, we need to know the procedure, how the way in which we are integrating with the grid. So let us see the case studies. Before discussing the case studies, I just want to tell you how we are using effectively the renewable energy sources. So in this regard, I have prepared some slides related to the renewable energy sources, then followed by the grid structures. What are the grid inverters we were using? And these things only I just want to discuss with you. Any clarification is there in between, you can discuss with us. I'm ready to explain at any time. So let me share my slide. Hello, ma'am.
Sir, tell me, sir. Tell me, sir.
Organizers, they must give the permission to share my slide.
Okay, sir.
I'm not able to share my slide. You must grant permissions in order to screen share like that it is showing. So, can you give the permission?
No, sir. Actually, I didn't get any request from you, sir. Actually.
Maybe I do not know what happened. 1 minute. Please let me.
Sir, sir, excuse me,
Madam?
sir. Yeah,
Yes.
one thing we can do, sir. Actually, I didn't get any request from you, so then only I can admit you, sir. Otherwise,
Yes,
we can.
Otherwise, I will use the Chrome. I will try.
Sir?
I will use the Chrome, madam.
Okay.
Right now, I am using with the Mozilla.
Okay.
Can you admit me, ma'am, once again?
Yeah, sure, sir. Sure, sir.
I am switching to another account.
Okay, okay.
Madam, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, now you are allowing. Can you see my slides, madam?
Yes, yes, sir. We are able to see. The title is Grid Synchronization in Solar Photovoltaic System.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we are able to see, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So I said that here we are going to discuss the grid issues. Okay, fine. So I said that we would like to use the renewable energy sources. Before discussing the renewable energy sources, I just want to discuss with you the importance of the solar PV system. Depletion in non-renewable energy sources and the concerns of the environmental deterioration have been spurring electric power experts to find sustainable methods of power generation. So here are some data related to the annual energy supply versus the various sources of the energy like oil, natural gas, nuclear, biofuel, hydro, and etc. So here you can see that how much 1 metric ton electric equivalent, the annual energy supply. The corresponding energy reserves in billion tons of oil equivalent that it is also indicated. So with respect to the years, you see that the oil equivalent with respect to the coal, gas, oil, these things. Another important information is CO2 emission. Here you can see that the CO2 emission, the CO2 emission with respect to the various sources of the energy, uh, the various sources of the energy with respect to the CO2 emission we can find. Then the distributed power generation in the form of renewable energy sources is believed to provide optimistic solution. Optimistic solution to reduce the dependency on conventional power generation and mitigate the carbon footprint on the environment. So among the renewable energy sources, the solar to a photovoltaic system is very popular due to abundance of solar energy, easy installation, flexibility in size, and low maintenance cost. Now we see that the significance of the solar energy. So let us consider the total annual energy consumption by the world. This which is equal to this one. The source is this textbook. And the total solar optical power received by the earth, that which is equal to 1000 watts per meter square multiplied by the area of the earth, that indicates this one. Over the whole here, the earth receives the radiation energy of this much. So that energy which is equal to 2.797 into 10 to the power of 17 kilowatt hour. One is calculating W earth divided by W world. That indicates with the 1763. So from this, we can understand that the sun sends us more than 1763 times the energy than we use in a year. So let us see that another example which is given in the same textbook. Before discussing, you see that the different types of the panels which is available. For example, the monocrystalline solar panel, polycrystalline solar panel, thin film solar panel. When you are referring the efficiency, you see that the efficiency is very, very less. That is the 15.4 percentage, 14.56 percentage, 6.34 percentage. So, but still the researchers are working how to improve the efficiency of the solar panel. As we know, the lifetime of the solar panel is 25 years. So based on that, the efficiency is also getting reduced every year. That is also that. But one important thing we need to see that as compared to the petrol engine or diesel engine or oil, so we need to purchase, but here the energy is free of cost. When you are referring the petrol engine or diesel engine, the efficiency is less than 30%. So not more than that, but we need to purchase, the cost is involved. But here there is no cost for purchasing the energy. When you are converting the sun energy to the electrical energy with the help of the solar PV system, so when you are referring this with respect to the monocrystalline PV system, the efficiency which is equal to 15.4 percentage of the sun energy. And when you are using with the commercial inverter, the inverter, it is having the losses, for example, grow watt. And the output of this one, that indicates with the 10 percentage of the PEN. And we are connecting to the grid. Today's discussion, we are going to have how we are going to use effectively the inverter. The inverter contains the power electronic system, power electronic switches, how the way in which it is connected. And when the grid problem is arrives, when the unbalancing is arises with the grid terminal, or phase shift is there with respect to the voltage, and harmonics is there. How we are addressing these issues at the grid terminal, that we have to see. So let us consider the solar irradiation on the earth at a standard test condition. We are considering that 1000 watts per meter square. The total area of the Sahara, that indicates with this one. How much power is received on the Sahara, that indicates this 9.2 into 10 to the power of 15. How much annual energy can be produced from the Sahara using the solar PV, that indicates this. Where when you are considering this case, and in Sahara the total energy production is this one. So the ratio of the annual possible energy production from the Sahara world's annual energy demand, that indicates with the annual energy divided by world annual energy demand, that indicates with the 12.7. So from this we conclude that so the annual energy from the Sahara, which is equal to 12.7 times the world annual energy demand. So this is the in the map where this is indicates the possible annual energy production from the Sahara using solar energy is 12 times the annual world annual energy requirement. So that means we can see that how much abundant energy which is available. So now before discussing the how the solar energy is connected to the or interfaced with the grid terminal, how we are feeding to the grid. So we need to know the fundamentals. So that fundamentals I just want to review here. So the characteristics of the PN junction diode in general, we used to be represented. So anode to cathode voltage, and through the external circuit, we are exciting the diode. The anode current, it will be flowing from anode to cathode. And when you are referring the solar PV cell in the IV characteristics, you refer the current directions also. And when you are referring the equation is, we are referring the current diode current equation. So this is the characteristics with respect to the IV characteristics under steady state condition. And this is only we used to teach for the third semester students to how to observe the diode characteristics. When you are considering the dark condition, the same diode, the diode characteristics, it looks to be like this. But when you are referring the dark condition, so that means increasing the irradiation, the characteristics, it will be shifted like this. But again, we are referring with the first quadrant characteristics only, that is only it is indicated. So high pH. So I means how much the photon currents which we are getting from the solar cell, that minus the diode current equation we are getting. And this is what the equivalent circuit of the solar PV system everybody knows. Only thing is, this equivalent circuit will be useful for simulating and observing the dynamic characteristics and the steady state characteristics. So normally we used to have the single diode characteristics or two diode characteristics or something else. Everywhere we are going to tell that we want to predict the characteristics. So in this regard, we want to know the equivalent circuit of the PV cell. So IPV, which is equal to IPH minus I diode minus I shunt. That only the current which we are getting with the solar PV system. So when you are substituting ID, VD, and you may get this equation. This is what the source, Chetan Cholangi textbook. So when you want to find out the IV characteristics by connecting one rheostat RL or the load, by changing the load resistance, initially the minimum value of the resistance is there. When you are having the resistance, then the current which is equal to short circuit current. When you are increasing the current, the PV voltage is also increases. The PV current almost, it is getting reduces one particular point. The PV current, it is getting drastically, but the PV voltage, it is smaller variation you may get. So when the slope of the resistance, when the resistance is changes, so you may get this kind of characteristics. You see that when R5 is there, that means the circuit is open circuited. We are getting with the open circuit voltage. And then short circuited current, resistance which is equal to 0 like this. When the resistance is increases, we are having the open circuited characteristics. The open circuited characteristics, it looks to be like this. When you are referring the IV characteristics, when you are multiplying the I and V, you are getting the power characteristics like this. So from this, you can see that one particular value only, we are getting the maximum value of the power. Remaining place, the power it is increases, after that power is getting reduced. So that means when you want to use effectively the PV power, one particular point only the maximum power we are getting. The remaining places the power is constant, power is varying. So we need to identify this part. So in this regard, we need to understand why we need to use the power electronic converter. So the solar cells to solar PV module, before that we will discuss. The solar cell, it looks to be like this. The rating is, let us consider like this. 4.44 amperes and V which is equal to 0.5 and the power which is equal to 2.2 kilowatts. So when we want to increase the wattage using the single solar cell, it is not possible. In order to get a larger power, many solar cells are connected together in series and parallel in the solar PV modules. The solar cells to PV module technology, the series connection indicates the voltage additive. And for example, if you are having the single solar cell, the power which is equal to 2.2. When you are connecting in series, you may get the power rating is also increases, the voltage rating is also increases, and the current rating is same. So a solar PV module is a device in which several solar cells are connected together to generate more than single solar cell. Like this. Now we will see that the PV solar cell to array technology. This is cell. This is module. In the module, many cells are connected in series. Sometimes it may be parallel. Then we are having the strings like this. Then strings to array technology, it will be there. And so we can have from milliwatts to several megawatts. When you are referring the equivalent circuit, we want to solve this equivalent circuit. So depends on the number of cells we need to indicate here. And the representation of the RSH and R series resistance in the equivalent circuit is how the degradation is there with respect to the number of years. And under the datasheet parameters, with respect to the 250 watts per power, polycrystalline PV panel at a standard test condition, it is given. All these parameters are mentioned at the standard test conditions. The irradiations G0, which is equal to 1000 watts per meter square, and the temperature which is equal to 25 degrees centigrade, and the air mass which is equal to 1. So when you want to calculate with the efficiency, we need to refer, this is the VMP, this is IMP, this is VMP, this is PMP with respect to the IV and the PV characteristics. So the P out divided by Pin, that indicates with the PM divided by Pin, that indicates with the VM into IM divided by Pin. When you are referring the efficiency of the solar panel having an area of 1.665 meter square, VM which is equal to 30.72 and IM which is equal to 8.14 amperes. So power which is equal to irradiation multiplied by the that area, and output power which is equal to VMP into IMP, then efficiency you see that only 15.02%. And the effect of varying the temperature. At the standard test condition, we used to consider with the 25 degrees centigrade. All the data sheet parameters, they used to give only 25 degrees centigrade. So the VOC at the particular value of the temperature, this is the expression. Where alpha V, which is equal to the temperature coefficient of the VOC. And consider from the data sheets. The alpha V is a negative value from the data sheet. It means that as the temperature increases, the magnitude of the VOC is getting reduces. As the temperature is increases, the VOC is getting reduces. So when you are considering with the effect of temperature on the ISC, that is the short circuit current on the power, ISC is approximately IPH multiplied by the IPH is directly proportional to the solar power. As the temperature is increases, the photon current will increases and the band gap energy is decreases. Therefore, the ISC is increases with the increase in the temperature and it has a positive temperature coefficient. And ISC at T1, which is equal to this, the power which is equal to V into I as a negative temperature coefficient, which implies that maximum power is increases, sorry, maximum power is decreases with increase in the temperature. So that is a PM into this is that expression, we will see that. The effect of temperature on the PV characteristics, it is indicated with the 25, 35, 45 and 55. So when we are referring this equation, when you are calculating this alpha V, we are considering. So 35 degrees centigrade and 45 degrees centigrade is this much. VOC is changing. The conclusion is as the temperature is increases, VOC is decreases. When you are referring the PV characteristics with respect to the different temperature, we are referring this expression. At the conclusion is as the temperature is increases, the P maximum is the reduces. So the effect of insolation on the short circuit current, when VOC which is equal to 0, I mean with respect to this expression, as the short circuited condition, VPV which is equal to 0, IPV which is equal to ISC, then the equation becomes like this. When RS is very, very less than RSH, this term is approximately equivalent to 0. And that is why we are not considering this. Then this is what already I told you. The short circuit current of the PV module varies linearly with the solar irradiance. And effect of open circuit voltages, when IPV which is equal to 0, VPV which is equal to open circuit voltage. When RSH is greater than very, very VOC, then your expression is like this. Then the open circuit voltage varies logarithmically with respect to the change in insolation. Here you see that the effect of insolation on PV characteristics with respect to the different irradiation That is standard test condition is 1000 watts per meter square. And the irradiation changes. The maximum power is also changes. You see that as the irradiation decreases, the ISE is getting reduces. Similarly, as the irradiation is decreases, then VOC is decreases logarithmically. And with respect to this, how we can identify the type of panel with respect to the monocrystalline, polycrystalline, and thin film. Here you see that identification, the markings. So diamond marking is there with respect to the solar cell. And here square marking is there, or rectangular marking you can find with respect to the polycrystalline. Thin film, if you are seeing that it is a foldable, and you are comparing with the same watt power at the standard test condition with respect to the different panels. So like optimum operating voltage, how it is varying, operating current, how it is varying, you see that. And the current, it is getting less, the voltage, it is more here with respect to the thin film. And almost these two things, it is getting the same thing. Then open circuit voltage, it is more for the thin film. The current is less for the two cases, monocrystalline and polycrystalline. And thin film, it is less, here it is more. The number of cells and the length, you see that, the efficiency. So these things we have discussed already. Coming to the significance of the MPPT, earlier we have seen that the characteristics. So from the characteristics and one particular point only we are getting the maximum power, not all the value of voltage and current. So we have to track effectively that point. In this regard, let us consider the resistances. If we want to increase the voltage or current, we need to employ the power electronic converters. The output voltage and current of the solar PV system is DC in nature. So we want to improve the voltage or current, we can employ the power electronic converters. That may be the DC-DC converters or DC to AC converters. Let us see the importance of the duty ratio. With respect to the duty ratio of the DC-DC converter, the duty cycle of the DC-DC converter is adjusted to modify the equivalent load resistance as seen by the source earlier. That is indicates with the Rin. Then only we can extract the maximum power. I told you with respect to the PV characteristics, one particular point only we are getting the maximum. So we can see that the different types of the power converters which is available, either it may be the non-isolated type or it may be the isolated type. So isolated, all are with respect to the fundamental topologies only, like a buck topology, boost topology, and buck boost topology. Without knowing that these three types, we cannot derive other things. For low power applications and all, we require the isolation. Sometimes we can go with isolated power converters. The examples for the isolated power converters are flyback, push-pull, forward, off-bridge, full bridge, etc. So let us consider the conventional boost converter. How the input resistance it is reflected. So the voltage gain which is equal to, this is called as a DC transformer. Physically, we cannot have the DC transformer. The power electronic converters only we are calling as the DC transformer. And the ratio is 1 divided by 1 is to 1 divided by 1 minus T. The input resistance Rin, which is equal to load resistance multiplied by 1 minus D square. So we want to see that how we are reaching VMP and PMP point. So in this regard, by adjusting the duty ratio, then only it is possible. The extreme cases is when duty ratio which is equal to 0 and a duty ratio which is equal to 1. Then we can see that the operating area. Let us consider the D which is equal to 1. D which is equal to 1 in the sense 1 minus 1 which is equal to 0. That means the load resistance which is equal to 0. The reflected resistance which is equal to 0 in the sense you may have this point 1. When you are considering D which is equal to 0, that means this is 1. This is what the maximum value of the load resistance. That is this we are getting. So that means the operating area of this with respect to the boost converter is this much. So when you are changing this one duty ratio, the characteristics it will be changes. So we can obtain the point. Similarly for the buck converter, this is what the relationship between the R into duty ratio. And we are having, with respect to this, when duty ratio which is equal to 1, the input resistance which is equal to load resistance. And when duty ratio which is equal to 0, the input resistance which is equal to infinity. The MPPT is, limitations are, the operating region is this. When R load 1 is greater than Rm, the MPPT cannot be tracked. So in this regard, people went for the buck boost power converter. The buck boost power converter is, this is the relationship. The relationship between the input resistance to the load resistance. It looks to be like this. This is what the load line we are representing. When D which is equal to 0, so we are getting this point. When D which is equal to 1, we are getting this point. So there is no restriction in choosing the load resistance value with respect to the buck boost converter. So that is why we are sometimes we may prefer with the buck boost power converter. But the conventional buck boost converter offers a negative output voltage. So in this regard, the people they may go for the derived type of buck boost power converter like a loop converter, super lift loop converter and other things. That is okay. But how where it is required, when it is required, that is very much essential. So we need to see that one. And here we need to see that the importance of the illustration illustrating the P and O principle. Operating from VOC, we are adjusting the duty ratio. When P is positive, V is negative, continue the perturbation. Similarly, like this. Here, when P is negative, V is positive, reverse the perturbation. Again, when P is negative, V is positive, reverse the perturbation. So in there like this, we are observing the maximum power. And for simulating, these parameters are very much essential, that is R series and R shunt. So you may not get it directly from the data sheet. So we have to derive, we have to solve the equivalent circuit along with the standard parameters. That is R shunt and R calculator. The slope of the tangent drawn to the R calculator, that is VOC, that indicates with the R calculator, that is dVPV divided by dIPV, by considering the VOC almost constant. So that is the slope of the tangent not drawn near to the, suppose that indicates with the RSH. So sometimes the another way of determining this. So here, when you are looking the equivalent circuit parameters, the 5 parameters are unknown, IP, I0, and combination of the parameters. So for this, we can follow this condition. IPV which is equal to ISC and VP equal to 0. So the second condition indicates with IPV which is equal to 0, VPV which is equal to VOC. Then IPV which is equal to IMPP and VPV which is equal to VMPP. Therefore, we get these three equations, that is 2, 3, 4. These three equations. So that indicates like this. Now we therefore we are having the 5 unknowns and to obtain the other two equations by considering the dP divided by dV at V which is equal to VMPP and I which is equal to IMPP, that which is equal to 0. Then di by dV which is equal to at V which is equal to 0, I which is equal to ISC minus 1 divided by RSH. Solving the 5 equations 2 to 6, we can determine the parameters. In this regard, we can go with the Gauss method or Gauss-Seidel method. So initially, I have shared one textbook. So in the textbook, directly, if you are substituting this equation, you can find the parameters. That also it is possible. Now we see that the effect of variation of the RS and RSH, I told you in the beginning, these parameters indicates the lifetime of the panel. When RSH and R series is indicates varies. So let us consider in this graph, you see that when RSH is reduces, what is happening? The power it is going to get reduces. You see that. That is RSH is reduces, the power is reduces. Similarly, R series. When the R series increases, the power is also reduces. So we have to predict properly the value of R series and RSH. Then only we can meet the simulation and experimental results. Other we can match the simulation and experimental results. Otherwise, it is not possible. So either increase of R series or decrease in RSH result in the decrement in the maximum power output of the PV module. The series and parallel connection of the PV modules. The series connection indicates voltage additive and parallel connection indicates with current additive in nature. Let us consider the two modules are connected in series. The VOC is getting increases. And when you are having the parallel connection, the ISC is getting increases, you see that. So when you are having the two strings are connected in parallel, you see that how the way in which it is increases, that current and voltage. So when you are connecting the series parallel, there is always mismatch. The mismatch, it may be in the difference in the cell processing. Cells are the modules of the same rating but different manufacturer, different outside conditions, such as the partial shading conditions. So these mismatches leads to severe damage to the modules. For example, the mismatch in the series connection. The mismatch due to the difference in the VOC and the difference in ISC. The mismatch in VOC is not a problem. No loss of power. The total power is the sum of the individual module power. The mismatch in ISC is a great problem. Let us consider the two mismatch ISC1, ISC2 with respect to the two modules. The mismatch in ISC, when these two modules operate near short circuit condition, current condition, the module 2 is forced to go into the reverse biased condition. So that means module 2 operates in the reverse bias, that indicates with the I star minus IV, that indicates with the minus IV. The module dissipates the power rather than the generated power. So the operating point of the two cell combination can be obtained by plotting the reflection of the mirror image with respect to the y-axis. Here you see that with respect to the difference in the current, the mirror image, it is indicated. Because of this, the mirror image, because of the mismatching, the hot spot is created in the PV panel, it will be breaking. So the many modules are connected in the series string. Under short circuited condition of the string, shorted module will become the reverse bias. So the power gets dissipated in the poor module instead of generating the power. So, and the hotspot is also developed. The bypass diode is a diode. The solution is bypass diode. The bypass diode is a diode which is used to provide the destructive effect of hotspot or local heating in series connected modules. Like this. This is indicates with a bypass diode. So to avoid the cell modules. The bypass diode is connected in parallel with the solar PV module with opposite the polarity. In normal condition, the bypass diode operates in the reverse biased condition. If a series connected module is shaded, the reverse bias will appear across it. This reverse bias will act as a forward bias for the bypass diode. So extra current will be bypassed. The mismatch effect will be addressed with the help of bypass diode to protect the modules. The another one, which is called as a blocking diode, may also be used to minimize the mismatches, blocks the current to flow into the shaded module from parallel module. It is also prevents loading of battery during the night. For example, you see that here. Effect of partial shading in an array. All are at a standard test condition. We are having the single peak. Let us consider these three alone. It is the irradiations of these three modules are 700 watts per meter square. Then the total power, which is equal to because of the mismatches. You see that the characteristics, we are getting the two peaks. And the power is also getting varied. When these three things are spread out, it is called as a reconfiguration. In a particular area, we know very well the shading, it may be the trees or cloud or anything. If you are dispersing the shade, the power output, it will be changes. Here you see that before dispersing the characteristics, it looks to be like this. After dispersing, we are getting with a single peak. We are having the power is, it is getting increases. The effect of partial shading is a reduction of the output power. Multiple peaks in the PV characteristics. Shifts in the location of the global peak. So in this regard, we need to address the mismatch loss due to the partial shading is not proportional to the shading area, but it depends on shading pattern. So coming to the title, today's title, we need to see the structure of the distributed power generation system. The input powers, various power it is considered. The output power of the power processing unit, that is the power converters, we are connecting to the utility grid or local load. When you are considering the input side controller, it is the input power controller, MPPT, generator speed controller in the case of wind energy conversion system. So the overall control unit that indicates with the real and the reactive power control. When you are coming to the grid, how smart you are applying you are feeding power to the grid, and what are the controls it is required? Grid monitoring, grid synchronization, line impedance detection, like this. So the distributed power generation control is the input side controller is extract the maximum power from the input source. The grid side controller is a grid synchronization, control of active and reactive power, and ensure the high quality of the injected power. When you are referring the energy transfer and the power flow between the AC terminals and the grid, so the power converter mainly depends on the relative phase angle between them. Active power means it is related to the cos phi. The reactive power, it is related to the sin. The power converter along with the distributed generation source, it is indicated in the rectangular box. And AC source, that is called as a utility grid, it is separated. The pi depends on the two absolute angles. The control of the grid connected power converter needs to estimate the AC voltage phase angle θ1 in order to set the switching angle. The current controller is normally we used to prefer. The current controller, it may be the real current controller and the reactive current controller. The voltage controller, it is sometimes we need to transfer the active power. And the grid connected power converters needs to track non-DC references, which makes the design is complex. The current controller, normally we used to have the hysteresis current controller. The reason is fast dynamic response, and the construction is very simple by using the schematic trigger arrangement. So here you can see that the grid synchronization, we are using simple zero crossing detector by sensing the voltage and making the current reference and sensing the actual reference, feeding to the hysteresis control. So the grid current ripples, it will vary from with respect to the band of this schematic trigger arrangement. And voltage controller we can employ with DQ controller. So how the DQ is converted to the alpha beta and how the alpha beta is converted to the ABC. So from that, in the case of three phase, how we are converting how we are getting the pulses. So coming to the structures of the solar photovoltaic generation system, there are three types of inverters which is available. One is called as a central inverters, string inverters, and module inverters. The central inverters, it is famous, 10 to 250 kilowatt. The string inverters are famous for 1.5 to 5 kilowatt. It is mainly used for the residential. The module inverters, it is famous for 50 to 180 watts. Here you see that how the way in which we are connecting with the power converters. We are having only one central inverter. Here in each string we are having one inverter. Nowadays the commercial inverters is also available. Or we can have one central inverter followed by the DC-DC converter. This is also called as a string inverter. The combination. Each PV module also we are using one inverter. It is called as a module inverter. The high efficiency mini central PV inverters are also emerging for module configuration in medium and high power PV systems. So the different topologies are available, like low frequency transformer based topology and high frequency based topology. All are having the efficiency is 93 to 95%. Sometimes we can have the transformer less based. The safety is an important issue for this case. The efficiency we are getting maximum 96%. So with respect to the structure, one can see that the efficiency is transformerless. Of course, it will provide more efficiency, followed by high frequency transformer, then low frequency transformer with respect to the power rating. When you are comparing with the weight is more for the low frequency transformer, followed by the high frequency transformer. I mean, the high frequency transformer weight is less. Then the transformer-less inverter. Then volume. The volume is more with respect to the transformer-less inverter, then low frequency transformer, then high frequency transformer. So different manufacturers are available for the commercial inverters like ABB, Sunny Boy. Many inverters are available. So many in terms of megawatts and all, the Sunny Central inverters are supplied by the SMA. And with respect to the conclusion is, with respect to the structure, the PV modules are emerging on the market with more manufacturer, both the DC to AC power converter and DC to DC power converter. Transformerless multi-string PV inverters features in comparison with the transformer-based PV inverters: high frequency, high efficiency, low volume and weight. Today, more than 70% of the PV inverters sold on the market are transformerless, achieving 98% of the maximum conversion efficiency and 97.7% in the European. Further improvements in the efficiency can be achieved by using SiC MOSFETs, that is recent technologies, wide band gap devices. And we are through that we can improve the efficiency up to 99% with the increase in the switching frequency and reducing the size. The central inverters are preferred. 98+% of the efficiency is achieved with the classical 2-level inverter. So this is the PWM which we are achieving. When you are referring the PV system, PV module is there, DC-DC converter is there, DC to AC inverters are there. The inverter along with the transformer we can use. That output it is connected to the grid. The different controls with respect to the, I already told you that VDC control, grid synchronization, current control, MPPT control, anti-islanding control for power matching, grid bar PV plant monitoring, sun tracking, active filter control, microgrid control or utility grid control, grid support. All these things we need to be addressed with the help of power electronic controllers only. So That also we need to be followed as required by the standards. So like IEEE 1574, IEEE 519, VDE 126, etc. So in this regard, mostly for the three phases, we are using with the DQ controller only. With respect to the synchronously rotating reference frame, that things are originated from the rotating magnetic field of the induction machine. When you are referring the rotating magnetic field in the air gap, the magnitude it will be constant. That means based on that only we are developing. There are three frames are available. One is called as a stationary reference frame. Second one is called as an arbitrary reference frame. Third one is called as a synchronously rotating reference frame. It is very standard, like a SCART connection. ABC to alpha beta conversion, it is called as two-phase transformation like a SCART connection. So why we are going for the two-phase instead of three-phase? All the three phases are coupled quantities. If you want to have the decouple, we are having two-phase transformation. Further, we want to have synchronously rotating reference frame in the sense two-phase to two-phase transformation. All the signals are in DC in nature, then the control it will be very simple. So this is what the transformation. This is what alpha beta to DQ. That is called as a synchronously rotating reference frame. Both are rotating at a synchronously. We are getting the perfect DC quantities. So that is a VD and VQ we are computing. Here the sine V omega t and cos omega t represents the unit vector. The cos omega t represents the omega t represents the grid frequency. So when you are converting the power, I mean the one frame to another frame, the power it should be same. So that is the PABC, P alpha beta, which is equal to DQ0. All it should be same. So these are the equations which we are using for estimating the power. So this is what the conversion of ABC to alpha beta and estimating the power. With this is represented with a low frequency. We are estimated from the doubly fed induction machine, rotor side. The power which is equal to 1.72 kilowatt. The transformation of the quantities from alpha beta to DQ. This is alpha beta, and DQ represents the DC quantities, and the power it is represented. So DQ which is equal to 1.72 kilowatt. And we are representing with the DQ to alpha beta is also possible. And alpha beta power which is equal to this. And when you are changing, when you are applying the harmonics at the particular location that we were tested, there also the power is same. The conclusion is the control implementation is easy in synchronously rotating reference frame. That is why we are preferring this. The power is invariant in irrespective of the reference frame. So coming to the grid issues, when you are referring the grid, how smart you were applying. A conventional zero crossing detector itself, it is sufficient to synchronize with the grid under normal condition of the grid. So When you are referring with the open loop technique, with the help of converting from alpha beta, I mean ABC to alpha beta, we can get directly sin theta and cos theta. So, but it is inferior under unbalanced condition of the grid. When you are using with the closed loop method, it is widely used in synchronization algorithm. The zero crossing detector based PLL is simple. Phase detection is possible only at zero crossing points. The reference frame based PLL we were using, that it is widely used. Satisfactory performance under balanced condition. Poor performance under balanced conditions, unbalanced condition. So the structure of the PLL that indicates with the phase detector, loop filter, voltage control oscillator. So the PLL performance, how it is varying. Here we considered that the important indexes, unbalance, harmonics, DC offset, phase jumps. The unbalanced condition indicates with, we are considering X is the unbalance. When you are converting this from VABC to DQ, that X it will be reflected here. So this is what the VD and this is what the VQ. You see that the shape, how it is getting changes. So we must have the proper PLL. When you are introducing the harmonics at the grid terminals, suddenly, like a fifth harmonic, seventh harmonic, in the ABC frame, how it is reflected in the DQ frame, that it is indicated. Under that condition, VD and VQ magnitude, it is not same. You see that how it is ripples. Similarly, the DC offset, the offset voltage, it is indicated with a VADC. With respect to that also, you see that. With respect to this, if we are applying the control of the inverter will not be controlled properly. To address those issues. And similarly, the phase jumps, the phi I have taken, that it is reflected with respect to the DQ frame, that it is indicated here. So the effect of distortion, it is indicated. The unbalance, which is equal to 2 omega, harmonics, which is equal to 6 omega, DC offset, which is equal to omega, and a phase jump, which is equal to 2. And in this regard, we can see that the literature, the synchronously rotating reference frame PLL is famous. Under balanced condition, it will work effectively. Let us consider VABC is balanced. Alpha, beta are to DQ. If you are converting, you may get with a perfect DC. And theta, you may get it with a perfect ramp. So when it is unbalanced, the ramp and our DQ signals, how it is changing, you see that. Of course, the ISR of PLL is a faster transient response under balanced and distorted conditions. But the problem is distorted output under non-ideal conditions, steady state error under frequency deviation. So in this regard, one more literature, it is available by Sakamoto, the transient operation of the grid connected voltage source converter under unbalanced condition. They are considering omega f of feed forward is constant. This will provide improving filtering characteristics under distorted condition, but the problem is slow transient response, steady state error under frequency deviation. So in this regard, when you are referring the low pass filter characteristics, so this is the bandwidth of the characteristics. When the bandwidth is getting reduces, the filtering characteristics looks to be like this. So the conclusion is, the bandwidth is increases, the filtering characteristics has to be reduces. So in this regard, one more researcher he has developed Tuning of the PLL of the power converters under distorted conditions he has increased. He has improved, he has considered this. So this structure will provide the filtering characteristics under distorted conditions, improved transient response. But a steady state error is there under frequency deviation. One more researcher he went for. The pre-filter based PLL. This is also works well with under distorted conditions. Very good transient response. Good filtering action, but slow response under frequency deviation. So one more researcher he has developed the PLL is with respect to the decoupled synchronously rotating reference frame by considering the positive sequence and the negative sequence components. But the problem is this will also the problem with under the harmonic distorted conditions. And very recently, so the Han Hall has developed the PLL with respect to the different harmonic components. It will give the good filtering action under distorted conditions, improved transient response, but a computational load depends on the number of harmonics considered. So in this regard, the EPLL was developed, extended PLL, with respect to this researcher phase detector, the frequency, voltage controller oscillator. This is also difficult to implement practically. The observations are a feedback control loops, tracks the phase angle and frequency. Forward frequency is kept constant. Increased complexity in phase detector section. Poor performance for large frequency deviations. Unless a compromise is made for filtering actions. So under distorted conditions. The requirements are fast transient response and good filtering characteristics under distorted conditions. Zero steady state error and improved dynamic response under large frequency deviations. So we have seen that the SRF PLL, and we have proposed that feed forward frequency estimator loop for the FPLL. So one gain along with the FIR filter we were included instead of keeping omega FF is constant. This will provide improved filtering characteristics under distorted conditions, improved transient response, and faster responses under frequency deviation. So this is the structure of the schematic diagram. Here you see that the two-stage power converters we were using, a boost converter and inverter, and the boost converter control it is represented for MPPT operation. So the inverter control is there to address. Here our case studies are representing only based on the PLL. And we were implemented this PLL with respect to the Altera Cyclone 2 FPGA board. The response of the FPLL at the startup that it is indicated here. So this is the cos theta. This is the theta. Theta we are getting perfect ramp. Here you are going, you see that FPLL under unbalanced condition. When unbalancing is created at this instant, but you see that the cos theta signal is same both for simulation and experimentation. And the response of the FPLL under harmonics. When the harmonics is introduced, and the cos theta signal, it is same for all the places you see that perfect sinus. So similarly, when the DC shift is there, DC offset is there, and you see that the cos theta signal is a perfect sinusoid. And when the phase jump is also considered at this instant, then also you see that the cos theta signal is same. And one more observation, which I had a case study, the frequency deviation. Under that condition also, you see that the cos theta, it is same. So the conclusion is, we can address all those things, the performance indexes, by considering the FPLL. And the same thing, it will be useful for wind-driven generators. In the wind-driven generators, we used to have variable voltage and variable frequency. So that will work perfectly. So I just want to tell you this information. In fact, we have used whatever we developed PLL effectively in variable voltage, variable frequency conditions. So this is what the one more single phase power converter we were employed with respect to the hysteresis controller. So the input source is the PV. The output is the H bridge followed by the 50 Hz transformer. Then it is connected to the AC grid. So zero crossing detector we can use for the single phase. It is not a problem. So we were used. This is what how the real power, reactive power, it will be supplied with respect to the voltage source converter. So this we have seen. This is what the fundamental PLL, that it is indicated with the grid voltage, angular frequency PLL, and the phase angle error. Everything is indicated. The grid voltage, alpha, beta, and VD and VQ. We had a various case studies. How the same power converter, when you are connecting the DC load is here at the DC link. So we are considering the DC load also. So in this regard, we can see that how the power converter, it is acting as a rectifier and inverter under mismatch, I mean power balanced condition. At 0.1 second, you see that the power, initially the power converter, it is acting as a rectifier, later it is acting as an inverter with respect to the given current references. So that is IQ, ID which is equal to 0. And the THD we are getting with the grid current which is equal to 5%. Similarly, when you are making the real power which is equal to 0, only the reactive power injection, either lagging or leading, that also it is possible to test at the grid terminal. There also the current THD is less than 5%. So similarly, both the real power and the reactive power injection, it is required. That also we were verified. Here you see that the real power is positive, real power is negative. Reactive power, here it is negative, here it is positive. Both the lagging and leading power factor, it is possible to achieve. So under this case also, the grid current, it is sinusoid, but THD is less than 5%. So similarly, we had a various case studies with respect to this. So these are that. And so this work we did with the case studies. Any doubts? I just want to stop my lecture up to this. any discussion is needed, you please interact with me. I just want to stop my lecture up to this.